and we're talking about a lot of serious stuff, but serious in a very good way, seriously good stuff. But it would be a missed opportunity to talk about probably the fun you had as well, because you're a guy who likes to have a lot of fun, comedy, and or having a little bit of fun while teaching is a lot of part of it. Your guys remember you very much for the intensity, but also for the good times as well.
Yeah, well, we had to have some comic relief, and plus, I'm a silly guy. I'm equally serious, and I used to tell the guys it's up to them to figure out, because the hat switches all the time so fast. Serious, goof off, but it was all part of my personality, and I made that part of the teaching process. You need to break the ice sometimes. So I remember one time it was so hot at rehearsal, and I had always teach the guys, if you make a mistake and somebody turns around where the mistake came from and they look, you're playing it off like, I don't know what that guy's looking over here is looking for a mistake, because there was nothing that happened over here. And I really preach that all the time, because we all do that. We hear something and we go to it and look, and as an adjudicator, you want to see what the reaction is of the kid. Is he going to give it away, or is he going to play it off? So I'm telling them, don't ever give it away, because I've seen people do that all the time. And so that was just part of the chat. So one day there was an error, and I could catch anything from anywhere, but I didn't quite know where the sound came from this one time. And I turn around and goes, who did that? Where was that? I used to always do this and do this like this. The two fingers, someplace right in here. I said, was that you? No. How about you? No way, man. It could have come down there for all we know. And then I started figuring it out, that they were like, I don't know what you're talking about kind of vibe. And I was going, okay, all right. So I reached in the back of my wallet, being all concerned. I was like, and I'm looking through my wallet. This is in the middle of rehearsal. And I'm searching, looking at dollar bills and stuff. And I pulled out $1, and I was looking at it. And I went to the guy on the end of the snare line, and I gave him the buck, and I said, would you please pass this down the line? And everybody's going, what are you talking about? And it got about 3 or 4 guys in, and everybody's going, oh, I get it. I says, you get what? I says, are we passing the buck? I says, you guys are the best buck passers I've ever seen in my life. You wouldn't give up who it was. Well, you told us, blah, blah, blah. So it was fun. We have a big laugh about that. There was always little treats like that. Or you knew someone was struggling with a part, but you also knew that they needed to be put on the spot, but let's not make it ugly, let's have fun. Joey, last week, was awful on this, but he's had a week. I bet she's really wonderful right now. Joey, I think it's time, and everybody's looking, going, I think it's time for you to play for us, don't you? Goes, well, I've been, no, I said play, not talk. You'd bring guys up. So it was all the time I give them this look, and whenever I would do that or this, that means I'm getting ready to do something to you. So you walk up and you go, they're going, oh no, and calling people out. I remember one in particular that I think it was 1985 or 86. Quad line, wacko bird guys, just real smart bunch of guys, and just like they towed the line with mischievous. I mean, all the time on purpose. And but they could play. They were great players. And I used to always make bets with the drum line when they start getting good. I bet you can't play that 4, 5, or 6 times in a row. I said, I'll bet you guys $20. I said, but here's the deal. If I win, I get $20 from each of you guys. If you win, you guys get just $120 for your section because I'm making up the rules. You know? Well, then I'm going, hey, it's my rules. Are you guys hot or not? You know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, man. All right, let's go. So they'd play. Great. They're getting cocky. You know, the way they are. Yeah, man, I'm going, all right, well, 4 more times in, no problem. So we're going. By then, I'm not even reacting. I'm not even going to react because I can hear every tiddlywink, tiny, maybe a gray, because that's what I was teaching their ears, training their ears to hear that. And they knew it too. And one of them, I think it was the 4th or 5th time, there was a little gray, and it was halfway between the chart, but that's like 30, 45 seconds. There's another maybe 2 minutes to the production. So they're going. I never cut them, you know. I was like, wow, guys, that's pretty good. I said, so I started reaching in my wallet, you know, the old wallet thing. And I went, well, it's too bad you guys only get one of these, but it's the deal is the deal. And I went to pass, and they're all like, yeah, I went to pass. I went, but wait a minute. In bar 16, and then the guys are calculating, and I knew they knew that I knew, but we were playing it off. Was there a little, ever so slightly, maybe a good judge wouldn't even hear that kind of thing going on drum 3? Oh, one person, I went, oh, you gave it away. I said, so you guys owe me $25 each. And they're like, oh, man. And so I was sitting there, and I didn't say anything else, and I'm looking at them, and they're standing there. And I said, well, what are you doing? They're going, what? I said, go get my money. Oh, yeah, well, we'll get that to you after, you know, on our break. I said, no, I want my money right now. But the gym's way, I said, go get my money right now. And, you know, I had a lot of fun that way because all the money that I got from those guys on bets, if they'd win, I'd pay them. Straight up, and they won a lot. And but they lost this time, and they knew it. They knew it, and they all heard it. It was so minute. I mean, this is how good these guys were. And I made them go get it right then and there. But we do stuff like that all the time. We used to go for runs together. I mean, Glenn and I, and Scott and all these guys that were all teaching together, we were there every day from 8 o'clock in the morning where they had marching rehearsal and everything. I mean, we would never leave the drum line under any circumstances whatsoever. Ever. You know, marching rehearsal, all right. Marching and playing rehearsal, we'll be there. And, you know, we'd be right there. And, you know, we'd always stay out of their way. When the drum line would warm up, Glenn and I would go hide. We'd always be around a building or a tree way in the back because kids, all the audience wants to come up and get close. And we used to tell everybody, you're on your own. But if we hear an error or something, and you hear this, hey, you know who it is, and that it happened, and Glenn's going, oh, those guys are starting to suck right now. I was like, wait a minute, if they do it again, and it was like, hey, and all of a sudden this big pile of people turn around, and me and Glenn are poking out of the tree. I heard that, you know, and of course, you know, people were laughing a little bit, and the guys, you know, they tried to get funky one day. When you're in uniform, you got that drum on, there are people around, there's no room for no funk. I mean, we had our thing, you know. It was like, so a couple of guys started smarting off. And Glenn and I looked at each other and go, do you actually think that you're going to win against me and Glenn, especially around people? And Glenn goes, I tell you what, the whole drum line, get down and give me 50 right now. But, you know, we're in our uniforms. It's in front of about 200 people. And they're getting up going, you know, like they're in a uniform, and we're sitting there just going, just laughing at him. A couple of guys will laugh or something. Then I'd walk up and go, you guys don't test us in front of people because we're going to win. All right, I'm not going to give a big dissertation about that, but let's get back to our thing, So we always had fun. We had a samba school that we'd start out our first camp every year. And 1981 was the famous year when we started it. We had all the surdos, hipaniques, everything, all the instruments. And we teach the guy to play, and it was basically, what is that game? Limbo, a pole?
Oh, sure.
So the whole place, we're in this barracks, it's some army base, those places.
Sure.
And we start cranking up, and you got like 32 drummers with bells and, agogos and, every kind of drum you can think of, and shakers and shakares, but we taught them the stuff, and we had certain signals and this and that. But each guy would have to do the limbo. No matter how cool or nerdy or whatever, this was like our SEV thing, And it just busted so many people out of these vibes that would never do stuff like that. They just could never. And we didn't force them. It was just a camaraderie thing, And we're at a barracks. And we got all these instruments. And it was time for drummer boys to be mischievous a little bit and having a good time all together. So we played and made everybody do the samba. And it started out as a fun thing. And then we realized how it was so groundbreaking in terms of bringing a lot of people together, screaming, sweating, because these things went over for 2 or 3 hours straight. I mean, we're getting down.
Yeah, getting down.
And laughing and screaming. It would never stop. It just would keep going. You point at somebody, and then everybody would be cheering and screaming, with their shirts off, and everybody's all funky, drum corps vibe, and all that. A lot of fun. We used to do stuff like that all the time. The cultural concerts that we used to do, where percussion ensembles would play, violinists, piano. We always did something to break the monotony. And Glenn and I are just silly people anyway, so we had to make room for us to be silly and to open the door for other people to have some silly moment too.
All of these kind of experiences are probably at the very root of why you've had such a committed alumnus, if you will, a group of people who've stayed committed, stayed connected, and been a part of a lot of your other successes as you've gone on, been colleagues with you in other situations. Of course, you created another generation of teachers going forward. So many of your students have gone on and had great successes. As you moved on from Santa Clara, you've had so many touch points in a lot of different organizations where you've been able to bring your special quality, impart some wisdom, knowledge, and spirit, and give other organizations a little bit of that experience that you were able to.
I mean, it's fun. I feel like we're obligated, and for me, honestly, that's the reward. To having, guys that turn into great students. The guys that are all in top in the WGI world, I could say are from part of my school. I don't even really, it's not even fair for me to call them my students, But in context with somebody, everybody understands it, okay, they were in my little school for a while. But these guys were well on their way, and my thing was just make sure to give them to put them in the right direction. And to see them succeed, doctors, lawyers, all this stuff. Everybody's everything, players. And they talk about those moments, like the samba night, how it came. And, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm going, well, thank you, because my reward, certainly there's no money involved in drum corps. Not for most, but some people do. But nonetheless, my reward was to seeing students succeed in all these fields, and knowing that that it was the work ethic and that surrounding that teamwork that they could apply to anything in life, whether they were going to pursue their career as a musician or not. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I get reminded about that all the time. But that truly is a reward to seeing the success. And trust me, all the students that I've had in the past or people that have gone through my school are about 1,000 times better than me. I mean, what could I ask for? They're brilliant. I couldn't even be remotely close. But see, I got a little something too. I was telling her earlier about this gift, you know, to be able to understand all of this stuff. But I mean, these kids are just better players, and you know, in the world of electronics, you know, and concepts now, they're fabulous. And it's like, all right, I'm really happy to be a chunk of that, a part of that.